Good morning, everyone. It is Sunday, December 2nd. It's probably in the mid-50s already. It's supposed to be up in the 60s today. So let's go back and take a look and see how the bees are doing. Hello, and welcome to our channel. We're glad you're here. Okay, I've already come back here this morning and taken a look. These are the two hives that are all the way back in the woods, back by the back corner of the horse pastures over here. This hive here was a split we did off of our surviving hive last year. That was the surviving hive from last year. This hive was rather aggressive, so we did requeen this hive. Really haven't been in it enough to know if the requeening calmed it down or not. It certainly didn't this morning. But then again, being as cold as it is, they're not the happiest this morning. Probably hear them flying around me and the camera. But as you can see, they are coming in and out at a pretty good pace. And I have added a pollen patty and one more sugar cake to the top of this hive because they were about, maybe 3/4 gone with their sugar cake. And this hive over here, as you can see as well, is doing quite well. They also got a pollen patty and a sugar cake. Certainly can't see it on the camera because it's on the back side here, but there's a bee trying to crawl inside the USB SD card slot. But anyway, both these hives are doing well so far. I'll shut the camera off. I don't know if you can see the entrance reducer is kind of falling out on this one and fallen in on this one. So I'll shut the camera off and fix those, and we'll go up front and take a look at the other three hives. And just a quick stop on the way up front. Take a gander at the horses here. We've got Mercury and Akoya and Sam back there in the background. I don't know if you can see it there, but Akoya's got a bell on him. Can you make your bell jingle? Come on, Akoya. Can you jingle your bell? There it was. We put a bell on Akoya because old Sam, he's going blind. Apparently it's kind of a thing with draft horses. According to the vet, they can just have a sudden onset blindness. So we think he can still see shadows and basic shapes, but anything close up or distance wise, anything clear, we know he can't see at all. So we put the bell on Akoya so he can kind of hear where the other two are at, because we've come out here before, and Akoya and Mercury will be like all the way back in this back corner, and Sam will be way out front, just making noise like crazy because he's lost. So we'd hope that bell on Akoya would help Sam know where they're at, and it seems to have worked. We haven't had him out here screaming lately that he's lost. So that's just a quick update on the horses. I don't know how well you can see it in the video, but it is just ridiculously muddy. It's just been rain and snow and cold and then warm and then rain and then snow and warm and cold, and we didn't have a fall this year. I don't know how weather's been where you're at, but here in northeast Ohio, it's just been ridiculous. Just like last year, we went from summer to winter, hardly any fall. Trees really didn't change much this year. They just dropped their leaves. So that's kind of a quick weather and horse update. Now we'll head on up and take a look at the rest of the bees. And I still have a few flying around me from before. So the ones back there in the woods, they're definitely not happy with me being around today. All right, coming up on the other hives, we've still got some ice storm damage up here we haven't got a chance to clean up yet. Now this pine branch here hanging down, I just lifted it off the fence. It was laying right here. That used to be about 8 foot up, so that's going to need trimmed off. Got a bunch of down branches here. Probably can't see it from here, but really on the other side of the horse trailer, along the driveway here, down the pasture, that last pine tree in this row dropped a branch. And that branch was probably as big around as this tree is on the fence. So we had to get that all cut up. And in this, let's see, where are we at? There's the horse trailer. So this corner of the pasture, there was a locust tree that went down on the fence as well. It didn't break the fence, the pine tree did. So we had to do an emergency fence repair on that. But yeah, we had a pretty good ice storm. Driving down the driveway and up this way, it was like driving through a car wash with all these pine branches. I mean, you can kind of see how high they are up there, and they were laying on the driveway. They were pulled down so far. So let's get over here to the other 3 hives. And as you can see, all 3 of these are doing well. Got a lot of bees flying around them. All 3 of these hives got a pollen patty this morning. Their sugar cake was still in pretty decent shape, so they didn't get new sugar, and we only had 2 sugar cakes left. So we need to make more, and I don't know how, but there's a bee in my suit, in my hair. So hopefully this won't end bad. But this hive on this end is actually 2 splits. This large hive in the middle was the nuke we bought from JC's Bees. It is really doing well. We did a split off of JC's into this hive over here. When we bought the 2 queens, we re-queened the one out back and then had the extra queen. So we just did a split off of JC's Bees and put the new queen in there with that split, and it seems to be doing pretty good. And then this one on the end was the swarm trap that we captured out on the far end of the pasture. So we have the swarm trap, JC's nuke, and the split. Sorry, I said this was 2 splits. We also split the 2 out back. We lost one of those splits, and the other split was very weak. So the green box on the bottom was actually a split from out back, and the orange box on top was the split from JC's nuke. So we did the newspaper in between the 2 hives thing and combined those 2 swarms, because they were both, JC's split was fair sized, but the one in the green box was really small. So we took the queen out of the bottom box and brought it up here and put the sheet of newspaper in between with the little slits in it and combined those 2 into one. And there was, when I pulled that cover off this morning, there were a lot of bees in there. So I mean, there's not as many flying in and out as there are these other 2 hives, but there are definitely a lot of bees in there. So hopefully in the spring we'll have 5 hives and not 1 like we did last year. And then one other thing we're planning on doing, really can't tell so much today, but the driveway drains into this area here. So this piece of ground is a lot wetter than it should be to have bees on it. So what we've decided to do is bring them over here closer to the pasture, and probably starting at this tree here, we're going to kind of clear this patch of ground out right in this area and put wood chips down and move the hives from there over to here. Probably keep them, 4 or 5 feet back from the fence so the horses can't lean over and get to them, and just run a long row right through here with the wood chips under them. And we're also going to move the 2 hives out back up here. I'm not sure how well that's going to go. We're planning on doing it like middle of January or something, when it's bitter cold out and they are not active and they're not out flying. Even today, they're not really out flying much. They're just kind of out doing their cleansing flight and stretching their wings a little bit. So we're hoping that moving the 2 hives out back up here with these hives, when they do come out, they're just going to be doing cleansing flights, and when they actually come out to fly in the spring, they will orient and not end up back in the old location. So we'll see how that goes in the spring. So we've got some work to do. You probably see it, there's an old empty hive stand behind this one that used to sit over here last year from all the ones we lost. So we'll get that one set up over there where I showed you, and we'll probably chip chip all these down pine branches and a few other branches that we have around, put those wood chips down under the hive stand to keep the weeds down so I don't have to mow around it, and we'll get all these hives moved to that new location once it gets cold. Like I mentioned earlier, we put the pollen patties and the sugar cubes up top. You can probably see it best on this hive. That unpainted section is the feeder trays. I've got a video last year of building those. I can post that up here in the corner. Before anybody complains and says I shouldn't be feeding sugar water, I am not. The feeders on the bottom, the sugar water feeders, are all empty. They're just there to cover the holes up. We use the top entrances, as you can see, so the bottom is not an entrance. It is always closed with the feeder in it. So once it got cold, I emptied all those feeders out and just put them back in just to plug the hole up. Otherwise, we'd have mice, mice in there. We took the feeders out last year, and a couple of the hives ended up with mice in them. For some reason, mice don't tend to get in these top entrances, but they will get in a bottom entrance. So that's where we're at now. If you have any questions or comments, please put them down below. Please give us a thumbs up, and we'd appreciate if you subscribe. And if you do subscribe, click that bell, and that'll let you know when we upload more videos. Thanks for watching, and have a good day.